You don't need a better life. You need a stronger mind. Let's be honest with each other for a moment. If you are watching this video, it's likely because a part of you is exhausted. Not physically exhausted, though that might be true too, but existentially exhausted. You're exhausted by the relentless need to optimize. You are constantly being sold a vision, a better job, a better partner, a better morning routine, a better diet, a better mindset. The promise is that if you just get these external factors aligned, you will finally unlock the peace you're looking for. You'll finally be happy. I see it in the comment sections of every self-help video. People saying, "I've tried the morning routine. I've tried the gratitude journal. Why am I still anxious?" And the answer, which is both simple and brutally difficult, is this: you are looking in the wrong direction. The ancient Stoics, a group of philosophers living in the chaos of ancient Greece and Rome, figured out a secret that modern culture has completely forgotten. They realized that a smooth sea never made a skilled sailor. And more importantly, that a better life isn't something you acquire. It's something you practice. You don't need a better life. You need a stronger mind. Today, I'm going to give you a framework for building that strength. This isn't about toxic positivity or ignoring your problems. It's about building a citadel within yourself that no external event can breach. Let's get to work. 1. The dichotomy of control, the anchor. I want you to imagine you are holding a clay ball in your hand. You can squeeze it, mold it, shape it. You have total control over that ball. Now imagine you're standing on a beach and you throw that ball into the ocean. You can stare at the water, shout at the waves, or cry about it, but that ball is gone. It is now subject to the current. You have zero control over it. This is the heart of Stoic philosophy. It's called the dichotomy of control. Epictetus, a former slave who became one of the most influential philosophers in history, put it bluntly: some things are in our control and others not. That is the first and most important point for building a stronger mind. You need to draw a line in the sand. What is in your control? Your judgments, your opinions, your impulses, your desires, your aversions, and your actions. What is not in your control? Your reputation, your health to a certain extent, the economy, the weather, other people's opinions, the past, the future. When you feel that anxiety spike today, and it will, ask yourself, is this in my control? If you're worried about a presentation you have to give, the preparation is in your control. You can rehearse, research and practice until you are ready. But the audience's reaction, the Wi-Fi going down, the boss's mood, that is the clay ball in the ocean. Let it go. Most of our mental suffering comes from trying to control the uncontrollable. We are trying to swim against the current. Stoicism teaches us to stop fighting the ocean and learn how to sail. 2. The internal citadel, the sanctity of the mind. Marcus Aurelius, the Emperor of Rome, was the most powerful man in the world. He had the ability to literally command the army, the treasury, and the law. And yet, he wrote in his private journal, what we now call meditations. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus understood a profound truth. The real battleground isn't the world, it's the mind. Think of your mind as a fortress, a citadel, as the Stoics called it. When you react emotionally to a rude email, an insult, or a traffic jam, you are effectively leaving the gates of your fortress open. You are letting the enemy, the external event, march right in and take over. A Stoic practitioner realizes that the email cannot hurt you, the insult cannot hurt you, the traffic cannot hurt you. Only your judgment of those things can hurt you. If someone cuts you off in traffic, your first impulse might be anger. What an idiot! But here is the Stoic pivot. You can't control the other driver, the ocean, but you can control your judgment. You can choose to think, that person is driving badly. It is likely they are stressed or in a hurry. Their behavior is a reflection of their state, not mine. This isn't about being a doormat, it's about preserving your mental health. It's about reclaiming your agency. By refusing to let external events dictate your internal state, you become a sovereign in your own mind. You build a citadel that no external force can break down. Your mind is your fortress. Keep the drawbridge up. 3. Negative visualization, preparing for the storm. Here is where Stoicism gets radical and where modern self-help often gets it wrong. Modern advice tells you to think positive, visualize success, picture yourself in a Ferrari. Seneca, the Roman playwright and advisor, tells us the opposite. He says, "He robs present ills of their power who has perceived their coming beforehand." This is the practice of premeditatio malorum, or negative visualization. It sounds morbid, but stay with me. It is the most liberating exercise you can do for your mind. The practice is simple. Spend a few moments each day imagining that the things you value, your health, your job, your relationships, could be taken away. Imagine you lost your job. What would you do? How would you survive? Imagine you got sick. What matters most to you? Imagine you lost your phone and all your data. Would you be okay? Why would you do this? Because it kills the fear of loss. When you confront the worst-case scenario in your mind, you realize that you have the internal resources to handle it. It inoculates your mind against anxiety. But more importantly, it floods you with gratitude. The twist. When you do this and you realize that you still have your job, your health, and your loved ones, you don't take them for granted. The cup of coffee you're drinking right now isn't just coffee. It's a miracle. It's a moment you almost lost. By imagining the loss, you learn to love what you have more intensely. You aren't preparing for the worst to be pessimistic. You are preparing for the worst so that you can enjoy the present with a full heart. You are building resilience so that you can be grateful for the fragile beauty of now. 4. The discipline of assent, the pause. Let's talk about the trigger. You get a notification. Someone posted a photo of a party you weren't invited to. Or perhaps your boss sends a passive-aggressive text. Instantly, in a fraction of a second, a feeling hits you. Jealousy, anxiety, anger. This is the impression. The Stoics taught that we don't have control over the impression. The thought appears. The emotion sparks. But here is the secret to the strong mind. We have the discipline of assent. That is the ability to pause before you assent or agree to the impression. You have the power to decide if that impression is true, false, or merely an illusion. How to use it in real life. The 3-second rule. Notice the trigger. You feel the heat in your chest or the knot in your stomach. You recognize that you are having a reaction. Pause and breathe. Seneca called this the space between stimulus and response. Take a breath. This breaks the autopilot. Question the narrative. Is this thought true? Is it in my control? Does it help me to be angry? Choose your response. You are no longer reacting. You are acting. Example. Let's say you are scrolling through social media and you see an ex-partner with a new person. The impression, I'm inadequate, I've been replaced. The Stoic pause. Is this true? Or is it just a curated snapshot of a life I know nothing about? Is this in my control? No. Their life is the clay ball in the ocean. What should I do? Wish them well internally and close the app. You aren't suppressing the pain. You are stepping out of the tornado of the emotion and observing it from a safe distance. You are breaking the chain of automatic suffering. 5. The view from above, the perspective shift. We get so caught up in our personal dramas, the traffic, the fight with the partner, the promotion we didn't get. To us, these are the most important things in the universe. But the Stoics invite us to zoom out. Marcus Aurelius wrote about the view from above. He imagined looking down on the earth from a great distance. When you look at the earth from space, the wars, the politics, the arguments, they seem trivial. You realize you are just a tiny speck on a tiny planet, spinning in an infinite void. Why is this helpful? Because it forces you to ask, how much is this worth? Is your pride worth the peace of the relationship? Is the fear of public speaking worth the anxiety you're giving yourself? Is this argument really a matter of life and death? This isn't nihilism. It's not saying nothing matters, it's saying what truly matters in the grand scheme of things. The view from above forces you to prioritize. If you think about the universe and how insignificant your ego is, you stop taking yourself so seriously. You relax. You realize that most of the things we suffer over are just our own overinflated egos being bruised. So let's bring this back to you. We started by saying, you don't need a better life. You need a stronger mind. And I hope you can see now that this isn't about being tough or emotionless. It's the opposite. It's about creating so much internal clarity and strength that you can actually feel the world without being destroyed by it. It's about realizing that you are an actor in a play. The script, the outside world, is written by fate. But your performance, the lines you speak, how you carry yourself, that is entirely up to you. To recap your Stoic toolkit: 1. The line. Draw a clear line between what is yours, your mind, and what is not, the world. 2. The fortress. Guard your inner citadel. Don't let anyone in unless you invite them. 3. The premeditation. Stop fearing the future by preparing for it mentally. 4. The pause. Breathe before you react. You own that space. 5. The view. Zoom out. Is this really that important? I'm going to give you a challenge. It's not easy, but it will change your life if you do it. For the next 7 days, I want you to practice the pause. Anytime you feel a spike of negative emotion, anger, jealousy, frustration, take a breath and ask yourself the questions we talked about. Is this in my control? Is this judgment useful? Don't do it for me. Do it for you. Do it to build the mind you deserve. And if you are ready to go deeper, I want you to subscribe. Because we are not going to just talk about philosophy here. We are going to live it. Take care of your mind. It's the only one you've got.